Do you lack painting inspiration and have no idea which colors you want to use on your miniatures? If so, join me in this video where I paint these awesome miniatures from the new Bestiarium Games Kickstarter using concept art as my guide. Concept art books are amazing. They offer a unique glimpse into the creation of games, movies or graphic novels. Especially if you're interested in the creative process of painting or world building, they are invaluable. I love them because they are also fantastic sources of inspiration. Whether you're into terrain crafting or miniature painting, if you are looking for a project, I highly recommend delving into one or two of these books. Set in a morally ambiguous world, filled with violence and despair, and lacking your traditional hero, Bloodborne embodies the essence of Grimdark. As a huge fan of the Soulsborne genre, I rank this gem closely behind Elden Ring in terms of gameplay and character building. However, when it comes to tone and setting, Yharnam and its surroundings holds a slight edge over the lands between, at least in my opinion. That brings me to this book, the official art book of Bloodborne. For a long time, this piece has served me as inspiration for painting schemes for miniatures, terrain, or crafting projects. For example, my Necropolis gaming board was definitely influenced to some degree by this particular book. Now, if you're in need of miniatures that capture that exact same vibe, the miniatures from Bestiarium Games might be just what you're looking for. As a sponsor for this video, they've provided me with a selection of these high-quality 3D printed miniatures, which are available via the Kickstarter campaign TORMENTOR CULTS. In this campaign, you have the opportunity to acquire these 3D printed resin miniatures. They boast such a high level of detail that they're almost identical to traditionally manufactured resin or plastic miniatures. However, the standout feature, at least for me, is their flexibility. The smaller miniatures, like these CULTS, are printed using an ultra-premium flex resin, offering an unparalleled level of durability and flexibility, surpassing what you might typically expect from resin or plastic miniatures. A big thank you to Bestiarium Games for sponsoring and providing me with these fantastic miniatures for this video. And with that, let's get to them. Building these miniatures come with a few kinks you should be aware of. My normal approach to resin miniatures is to wash them beforehand to remove any potential mold release residue. Logically, 3D printed miniatures shouldn't require this step, but I did it anyway. Call it an old habit. For assembly, I used epoxy glue. The spindly nature of the CULTS made pinning almost impossible, and I don't trust superglue alone. The big monster, also known as the Collector Demon, had a huge gap on top, so I used a bit of epoxy putty to achieve a smooth transition. After assembling all the miniatures and adding a bit of texture paste here and there, I went directly to painting. First, I needed an appropriate template for the color scheme I wanted to achieve. When I looked at these CULTS, I already had a pretty clear idea of what I wanted. Luckily, I found exactly what I was looking for with these church giants. In the games, you normally find them wandering around the aptly titled Cathedral Ward. They come with a white mantle and have a pale skin tone, which in the art book has a bluish hue. In my mind, this is a perfect scheme for a bunch of wretched cultists. After priming, I established the colors with my airbrush. For the skin, I opted to use various blue tones, complemented with violet in specific areas such as elbows, knees or hands. Basically where you would expect to find core skin. The robes were hand-painted with a simple middle of a grey, which I considered a good first layer. neither too dark nor too bright. I then shaded the ropes with a slightly thin layer of blue speed paint from Army Painter to bring them closer to the skin tone. After allowing that to dry, I used my Molotov paints to add highlights deliberately without any blending. My goal was to achieve a more painterly finish, akin to the look of concept artwork. Conveniently, this approach also masked my lack of golden demon level painting skill, though that's definitely not the reason why I chose to do it this way. Anyway, after applying all the highlights to the skin, I used the aforementioned blue speed paints in combination with a bit of glazing medium and applied that mixture over the skin. With that, I intended to dial back the stark contrast slightly. For this demon dog creature, I employed a similar approach, although I used a completely different paint scheme. I took inspiration from the illustration of the blood-starved beast, basing my color choices on various tones ranging from violet, transitioning to red, and ending in yellowish tones. Here, more than with the cultists, I used the illustration merely as a starting point, allowing my own interpretation to evolve from there. To finish off the creature, I used a violet speed paint in combination with a glazing medium and applied it all over the skin. For the big collector demon, I decided to opt for a much more time-friendly method. But first things first. I took inspiration from the illustration of the amygdala boss, which initially appears to be a black and white sketch with a warm glowing headpiece. However, upon closer inspection you can see slight color variations, which I intended to imitate. So I chose to use dry brushing. After adding a few darker shades of red and blue with a brush, I dry brushed several brighter shades of colors onto the whole body. Layer after layer, I built up colors until I had something that resembled the illustration. To recreate the bright focus point of the artwork, I painted the metallic cage with a copper color. To tie this monstrosity to the rest of the models, I painted the skin of the prisoners in the same color scheme as the cultist and used the copper color on all the metal parts on the other models. As a last step, I painted the base surface in red and added a layer of blue speed paint glaze mix on top of it. And with that, the Tormentor cults were ready to hunt. Another painting experiment successfully done, at least in my book. What do you think? I admit I'm not 100% happy with how the collector demon turned out, but I really like the cultists. As I mentioned in my last video, I find great joy in exploring novel approaches to painting and crafting, and this was definitely something new. How about you? Do you use illustrations as the base for your creations, or do you try to emulate reality while painting? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, please check out the Tormentor CULTS Kickstarter via the link down below. And thanks again to Bestiarium Games for supporting my small channel. If you like to support Lenric's RAM as well, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Your contributions are essential for covering my monthly expenses incurred by making these videos. In return, you'll receive behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive content. In my next video, we'll return to the Big War Chronicles. The project for that is already finished, so it's just a matter of getting the video together. There shouldn't be such a long waiting time like last time. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, farewell, fellow adventurers.